Okay, the Royal Rumble is almost upon us, and if you're wondering why have I not talked about this new signees of WWE, don't worry, I'll get to that before NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. I hope to do that anyways, and I've been contemplating about what happened in Manhattan Center, the big screw job, basically, but I'll probably mention a little bit of this in the video, or have it up by Tuesday next week, or Monday, I don't know. So, there are a total of 6 matches. There was originally supposed to be a 7th match regarding Cedric Alexander and Enzo Amore. However, that match got canceled because of what happened recently. And he's been fired from WWE, so he's currently unemployed, and evidence is coming out that that might have not been true, so it's give or take on that. So, moving on from that, looks like Cedric Alexander's ascension is going to have to be delayed. So, anyways, we get to the Usos versus Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team Championships. This has actually been building up since before Survivor Series. They were teasing a potential heel turn with Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable heading into the next year, and then following all that, and then due to the whole Survivor Series matchup, they had to delay that, but then it got back rolling in December. After the Usos lost to Gable and Benjamin in a non-title match, they were awarded a championship match on the first SmackDown in 2018, where they had defeated the Usos to initially win the titles after pinning Jimmy Uso. However, Jimmy Uso was not the legal man, and thus the match was restarted and the Usos retained their titles. By God. Logic consistency? Where was this when Nikki Bella was first champion in the Divas division back when it sucked? Even then, it would have been much worse of a title reign than the one we got with her as the last Divas champion, as the longest reigning Divas champion, but mostly it's just, I don't know which is worse. One where she was not as athletic and ability and talent at that time, or one that was just having a reign just to spite AJ Lee because Vince said so. And CM Punk. But moving on from that, the Usos went ahead and basically cemented this face turn when Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin went heel and basically downright insulted Daniel Bryan over the incident. And after questioning if they should have defeated the Usos twice in the same night, Daniel Bryan decided that at the Royal Rumble, the Usos would defend the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against Gable and Benjamin in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Much to Shane McMahon's frustration, even though there's a logical reason why, but yet logic is evil to Vince, so we have to make them the villains. And then the Usos continue this double turn with Chad Gable and Benjamin when Chad Gable and Benjamin attacked the Usos during a backstage interview and vowed to win the titles. And then finally, heading into Royal Rumble, Chad Gable got a victory over Jey Uso in a singles match. So there was only one big promo interaction, and that was not with the Usos regarding Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. I saw this double turn coming. I'm actually glad this happened because this could be interesting. Though I am going to question one thing though. Are the Usos gonna lose the titles because one of the Usos, I can't remember who because they look so damn similar. Are they gonna lose because they one of them got arrested? Hold on, let's see. Jey Uso was arrested for driving under the influence in Hidalgo County in Texas after participating in WWE live events held in the State Farm Arena. He was released on the same day after posting a $500 personal recognition bond, so $500. So, considering how WWE's been on a roll, has been punishing wrestlers for certain misdemeanors and incidents and driving under the influence, like what happened to Jack Swagger, and now no one will shut up about that meme. There's a huge chance they could lose the titles to Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. And I would have loved it more if it was more organic instead of feeling forced because of what happened with Jey Uso. But it's not really the company's fault this time. It's Jey Uso's fault. So, yeah. Okay, so, anyways, sorry, I was thinking of something else. Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan are now going to have a tag team championship match with The Bar. Because they need to cement that Jason Jordan heel turn with Seth Rollins, and ultimately they're going to lose the titles because of Jason Jordan either turning heel or their incompetence. Cesaro and Sheamus, however, have been having a huge run with the whole insult Jason Jordan because he's hated by the fans, because they really did that on the Raw 25 anniversary show. Like, Jason Jordan, every time he tried to talk, everyone just kept booing louder and louder and louder. And I was thinking, oh my god, he's got Roman Reigns' heat. Seriously, think about it. Every time he spoke, and clearly they were trying to push him still at being a face to an extent, but every time he kept talking, the fans just got louder and louder, like, shut up, please. Whereas when they did it with Reigns, they hinted at a heel turn, but really they're just dicking us around and giving us the big middle finger by having Reigns constantly raise the microphone just to hear the boos roar even louder, and then just lower it back down like, bitch, please. I got this. And then saying, I have you in the palm of my hands. Like, come on, just turn these two guys heel already. Jason Jordan's clearly going to the dark side, but Roman Reigns is never going to the dark side so long as Vince is still alive running the company. Sad I have to say that. So, yeah, and here's the thing. Seth Rollins playing the mentor role, I really don't know. I don't really see Seth Rollins at his young age. Like, let's see, he's only, he's 31? He's still pretty young in the wrestling business. Well, I mean, like, he's been wrestling since, the 2005? He's only been wrestling for, 13 years? Which is saying something considering how young he is. But, it would be, him being a mentor, I don't really see that working at that current age. Once he gets more years passing by, maybe he can do a mentor angle with somebody, but I really don't know. At this age, no. And Jason Jordan playing this spokesperson for Seth Rollins, like, oh wow, are they and like, yeah, when Seth Rollins was seeing Jason Jordan get horribly booed during Raw 25 in the Barclays Center, I think Seth Rollins was trying his damnedest not to laugh, like, it is kind of funny. Especially when the Bar kept saying, you suck! You suck! Yeah. So, though, then a report came out that they were going to do Jason Jordan versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, and I was like, no! I want Strowman versus Triple H, and the only way I can justify this in my most logical consistency and maintain continuity is if they had Jason Jordan fight Triple H at Royal Rumble, Triple H wins, much to the fans' delight, because they hate his guts nowadays. Then Triple H would fight Kurt Angle at the Raw pay-per-view. Jason Jordan screws Kurt Angle to set up their match at WrestleMania, and Triple H, wanting revenge on Strowman for what happened at Survivor Series, screws him out of the opportunity to be in a number one contendership match, and the only way that can happen is if the Royal Rumble goes to SmackDown Superstar, or this Raw Superstar goes to SmackDown. So that's the only way my mind could logically dictate this, and then we can get both Kurt Angle versus Jason Jordan and Triple H versus Braun Strowman. The best of both worlds. But clearly that's not going to be the plan, because fuck everything that was building up for this. So, yeah. And if you don't believe me that they were clearly building up to those two matches, Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan clearly are still doing the storyline, and Strowman and Triple H looked like they were about to do something, and then they just stopped. So clearly they were playing the seeds, but then they backed out like at literally the last minute. And I'm expecting the Bar to get the titles again, even though at this point, shouldn't they start disbanding a little bit or showing seeds of dissension? Like, it should be happening. They've been partners for 2 years now. Well, it's been over a year, but it will be 2 years once it reaches, like, September again. And Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan are just not a tag team. They're clearly showing dissension. Well, Seth Rollins is. Jason Jordan is just trying to be incompetent. However, Seth Rollins is shown to be no longer weak and stale with his character. For you see, the curb stomp has returned to the world. Now they're calling it the Blackout. What it was originally called when he was in the Shield. Hooray! The curb stomp is back! My God, that reason why Vince banned it in the first place, that's because of medical purposes. No. That would make too much logical sense to some people. No. He just didn't like Brock Lesnar looking like a, quote, idiot. As in, he doesn't want to make Lesnar look like he's a human being instead of an unstoppable beast. And like I said, you do realize Lesnar and Reigns were fighting each other for 15 minutes, I believe, at WrestleMania last time. And Lesnar was bleeding profusely. I'm pretty sure the loss of blood would make any human drowsy, no matter how you book them to be a beast. So realistically, even an animal could be drowsy from a huge loss of blood. So, yeah. And yeah, it took how many years for this to finally return? Oh, it took a couple. And for some reason it went to Finn Balor. Okay. Yeah, this was during a Finn Balor Seth Rollins rematch, which I was wondering, why was this given away on free television? Like, granted, Vince doesn't see Finn Balor as a main eventer because, I don't know, NXT reasons. But, yeah. I still don't get it. So, now we get to a very confusing match. AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a handicap match for the WWE Championship. What? Yeah, we all know how this is gonna go. But the build-up for it has been, okay, confusing. Not saying it's bad, it's just confusing because of how it's all been going. So, after Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's friendship was reignited in WWE continuity, yeah, so, here's the thing. What did Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn actually do that was heelish? Interfere in matches? Yeah, but compared to what Styles and Shane were doing, that's tame at best, because really think about what happened throughout this entire feud. Shane McMahon was trying his damnedest to get those two fired because of what happened with Kevin Owens, and he let his hatred build so much that he's in denial that he won't admit that, yeah, I hate those two guys, I have a personal beef with them, and I can't wait to fire them, to the point he tried to screw them over at Clash of Champions, therefore giving Bryan every single right to try and protect their jobs, because even if he doesn't like them, he doesn't want them to get fired because Shane McMahon's being petty. If he called it down the middle, Bryan would have cared, most likely. But, yeah, and then when AJ Styles ran his mouth and accidentally dug himself a hole, Bryan won. Bryan did it. Like, Styles asked for it inadvertently in his frustration, so Bryan granted the match. And sure enough, he dug himself even more when Styles says, hey, I'll do 2 separate matches back-to-back with Owens and Sami, costing him again, and once again, Bryan was about to probably announce it, then he said he wasn't going to do it, but AJ Styles cut him off before he could, therefore, Styles dug himself in the hole even deeper and deeper. So, yeah, what was exactly wrong in terms of the context of the story? The faces were making mistakes and the heels were actually looking competent. And even more so, this is where it gets even more confusing. Styles acts as the aggressor, attacking Kevin Owens, who has a leg injury now, in the final match before Royal Rumble, where Styles kept viciously attacking him, and Sami Zayn, he went to defend Kevin Owens and protect him. And you could say, oh, well, maybe Sami Zayn was just trying to just get in add-on because Kevin Owens tapped out. Well, you could, but except that there's a counter to that. Why was it that every single time Sami Zayn attacked him, he would stop after the referee told him to stop and go look at his friend and check on him? And then realizing his friend might be hurt even more, it just gets him more incentive to just want to get his hands on Styles regardless of the rules. Like, there have been faces that have done that in WWE. Like, didn't Roman Reigns, when, he was still being cheered as a face, didn't he try to smash Rollins' head in with cinder block? Remember that? Or is that because Roman Reigns was a different guy at that time? We can't remember those days. Unless it's the Shield, then that would be different. So, yeah, that just got more confusing for me. And yeah, it's just really confusing on how the booking's going. Like, what did really Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn do? Start a parody of the Yes Movement, interfere in people's matches, and that's it. What did Styles and Shane McMahon do in the storyline so far? Insulted, degraded, attempted to get fired, ran their mouth to dug themselves in a hole, show personal vendettas and try to deny it, even though the evidence is clearly shown on TV. Yeah, what were you trying to prove again, Vince? Okay, the only way I can see all this making up is if it leads to a massive double turn of all parties. Like, Styles and Shane go to the dark side, Owen, Sami Zayn, and Bryan show their allegiance to the light. That's the only way I can see this context working right. But, no, because from what I've heard, the plan for this is to have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have issues with each other in this handicap match, even though they've clearly not hinted that at all throughout this build-up, so this would be confusing. So, yeah, this build-up doesn't indicate that. Instead, they could just go ahead and have Shane McMahon try and screw them over again, leading to Bryan being justified to believe that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are being treated unfairly. Heck, even when Bryan was being berated by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for being called a hypocrite, he just got some guys to beat them up, but he didn't try and fire them, even if it really stung him, most likely. So yeah, we're just getting weird mixed messages here, everybody. We're really confused here. And now we get to a triple threat match that nobody wanted to see. Braun Strowman versus Kane versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. I must stress originally they were going to do Lesnar versus Finn Balor. However, Finn Balor was considered not over enough for fans. Therefore, according to Vince's logic, that means he doesn't deserve crap. I must stress Jinder Mahal was not over with fans, and he got 6 months of a title reign. Yeah. So, let's see. After Kane and Strowman fought in this #1 contenders match and ended in a double countout, they just decided, fuck it, let's just make it a triple threat match. Like, everyone saw, oh boy, it's so shocking. Not really. And this would lead to Paul Heyman once again ranting for Lesnar because Lesnar is too lazy to do a goddamn thing regarding that, because that would take too much effort on his part unless he gets paid a lot of money. And plus, he said he doesn't want to, it was said he didn't want to work with Strowman. I don't think he wants to work with Kane. I don't like it, unless it was The Undertaker, that would be a different story. So, yeah. I don't think he cares at the storyline, so really this match is just for one reason. To make him be out for like half of the match and come back, dominate, and win. And, okay, I wouldn't be so as more aggravated with this match if for one reason. They keep revising history from just a couple of months ago. They keep saying that Brock Lesnar's never been manhandled by Kane, never been manhandled by Strowman this way, even though there was SummerSlam and the Road to No Mercy that showed that Strowman was manhandling Lesnar on every single occasion. And that was just months ago. So why did you revise that history after only a few months? The only logic they got right was the fact that Kane and Lesnar never fought. I have not seen one match on TV that's ever showed Lesnar versus Kane fighting. So they got that right. I could be wrong, but let's just say that this is so far right, and this is the only continuity they actually got right. And Kane has hinted that this might be his last match in terms of a full-time run because he's doing all the mayor stuff as Glenn Jacobs. So, yeah, it looks like that they're not going to give the title to Kane. He's just there to take the fall. They gotta protect Lesnar because it's Lesnar, and keep the title on him because he needs to fall to Roman Reigns. And Strowman needs to be protected for something. I don't know. I just hope it's not the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I will scream. So, yeah, the only thing, and the other only highlight of this entire feud is Strowman trying to kill people. The last 2 weeks especially. Let's see. He goes ahead, gets a grappling hook, because, you know, grappling hooks are apparently needed for Batman in the WWE, I think. I'm like, if they had the Hurricane, that would be one thing, but there is no superhero gimmick guy like the Hurricane, so yeah, they can't apply that logic to the grappling hook, so I'm just going with, well, Vince McMahon runs the company, so clearly that would be his logic. So basically, from this logic point of view, he's only caught up to 2002. Yeah, I can buy that. So, yeah, Strowman pulls down the staging area of the back and topples it over Kane and Lesnar. I was like, oh my god! Really? They just did another attempted murder angle? Like, let's be real. And they did blatantly show the obvious protect them with the 5 inches thing, 5-inch floor thing. Let's be real. No man would have survived that. Even with the boxes protecting them that was underneath them. That was above them, I mean. So, Strowman tried to murder them. And the camera screwed it up when they showed that the railing was clearly not in place. Was clearly above them. And then Strowman, doing his awesomeness, actually surprisingly got fired for that. Wait, there are consequences? I don't believe it. Consequences on Raw of all places? Oh god, there's logic here. And sure enough, Strowman decides the only thing to do to get his job back to an extent is try and murder everybody in his path. And then, okay, Strowman then gets a shirt now where it says, "I'm not finished yet. I'm not finished until everybody gets these hands," which has now turned into a shirt. Get these hands. Yeah, and he proceeds to murder every single superstar and security official that tries to get in his way. And then and then Kurt Angle, in his over-the-top stupidity, is told that Strowman's heading for the TV production trucks, and Kurt Angle, for some reason, said, "Oh god, this cost $12 million. Those cost $12 million." And I was like, "Well, fuck you, Kurt. The crew on there doesn't count." Like. And then I realized something. Wait. Kevin Dunn works in the production area. Okay, Strowman, go kill him. No, seriously, go out there and... If you end this night by power slamming Kevin Dunn repeatedly until you could see literal hell, I will have deemed his career a success. He would have done what every fan has been begging for Kevin Dunn. Get his comeuppance for his obvious discriminatory attitude towards NXT, his fat shaming of Kevin Owens because, haha, he's fat, so let's linger on this fat Owens fat side because I'm a petty bastard. His hatred for Triple H because Triple H doesn't like him and has every reason now to fire him even more so. His obvious suck up to Vince, his approval of John Cena screwing careers over. Yeah, Strowman, go and power slam him. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the reason why you're not Universal Champion yet. So yeah, Joe had Strowman, and sure enough, Kevin Dunn made his debut on TV for the first time in God knows how many years. He was last on TV that has the only known meme photo of him. Yeah, that's from like decades ago, but moving on from that. And I kept saying on Twitter, like, Triple H is going to be happy. Strowman's about to kill Kevin Dunn. His dream come true. Along with the IWC nowadays. But yeah, Kevin Dunn was seen running around trying to escape Strowman, and Strowman decides to flip a truck over since he couldn't, for some reason, turn off the show. Yeah, apparently technology was against Strowman's kryptonite. But sure enough, Strowman flips over a truck and even angry when he gets even angry at the fact that Kurt Angle called the cops. And I was like disappointed with that because while Strowman lifting that truck in an obviously staged maneuver was awesome, I was like to myself, one thing. I wanted one thing. And I'm pretty sure someone would have told me, isn't the awesomeness of this entire angle really... Is the awesomeness of this entire angle not important to you? Would you say if I believe Strowman battle destroying Kevin Dunn in the middle of the concrete floor is more important? Because I was like, do it! Slam! Slam him to hell! Or whatever wrestling hell is. No, actually I think there would be paradise for him. So yeah, that was a huge missed opportunity. I wanted to see him beat the crap out of the TV guys, specifically Dunn, because I am a sick, deluded madman. I'm kidding. I know how much I hate these corporate suits that try to ruin wrestlers' careers because they dare say they're wrestlers, like the Revival. What happened to the Revival? But I'll probably get to that in a later date. Yes, but I would have... And yet, even though we didn't get Kevin Dunn being destroyed, instead Michael Cole gets destroyed by the power of Strowman. Well, I call that day a success enough as it is. If I can't get Kevin Dunn being destroyed, I can at least buy hope that Michael Cole will get destroyed. And sure enough, Kurt Angle, under the orders of Stephanie McMahon, rehires Strowman, and Strowman decides to throw Michael Cole into a pile of security guards. Yeah. Also, some people assume that Booker T pushed Michael Cole into Strowman. I don't know, but that's a high probability considering how Booker T's kind of lost his mind on commentary, but that's a different matter. So, yeah, Strowman is obviously the real star of this entire build-up. He power slams Lesnar through the table. Kane was practically a non-factor in this entire angle. And there was even a clumsy endings to Raw with Kane and Lesnar. So... yeah, I don't know. Strowman was really the MVP. Just give him the Universal Championship and fight Reigns at WrestleMania. I will say that is a much better match than having Lesnar going ahead and be lazy. Especially it being his last match, and he's never going to be seen again if contract stuff don't go through. So, yeah, just give the belt to Strowman for God's sakes. Like, come on. Come on. Just give Strowman the belt. Oops, I said belt. I'm probably going to be buried like the Revival again. Okay, never mind on that. But still, give Strowman the title. Is that better, Vince? I'm pretty sure I didn't offend you, but I probably would have because I've been criticizing your booking issues and your wrestling daddy issues of probabilities for a while now. So now let's get to a historic moment that has left a lot of questions. The 2018 Women's Royal Rumble match. First time ever. Okay, I'm not denying that this is a historic moment for the women's division of every single wrestler of the women's division, but the way they announced it was really, really freaking stupid. Why? Because everyone was brawling in the ring when they were about to announce it, and then Stephanie McMahon comes out and they all stop. Why? Because it's Stephanie McMahon? Like, you're not the male superstars. You can go up there and beat the living life out of her if you want to. And even weirder, and they showed this on TV, so this is clearly continuity-wise canon. The women all stand together, do the yes chants, and throw their arms together up in the air while holding hands. And I was like, Did you just have a massive brawl with Absolution and the rest of the women's division? Didn't you all just fight each other? Why are you acting like friends now? Like, I get this moment's important, but come on. Like, okay. The only time I accepted when women who hate each other in a storyline would work together to beat somebody up is when Sasha Banks and Charlotte attacked Rusev, because Rusev was saying, no one cares for your divas women's revolution or whatever it is. So they felt like they were attacked because of this, so they felt the need to defend their belief that the women should just be as great as the men in the WWE. So that made some justifiable sense. This, however, makes no sense, though I will say it is a big moment. It still doesn't make any sense because they all hate each other. There's no common enemy here. So yeah, that moment was a little diluted for me. In fact, a lot of people were saying that made no sense. And sure enough, every single woman is in this match, both Raw and SmackDown. However, Paige is not, because her career is practically over. And also the champions are not involved, but mostly Paige isn't in this match. Her career is over. They haven't announced it yet, but doctors have been saying it's over. Wrestlers have been saying it's over. Paige got a stinger injury or something like that regarding her recently repaired neck. And they had WWE reportedly had told her that, I must stress, she's only 25, that her career was done. But WWE doesn't want to announce that yet. Because they know, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure Vince and his paranoia thinks that if they had revealed Paige's true health and her career ending stuff, it would further dilute this moment of the Royal Rumble, which kind of comes across as self-centered for me if that's really the case. Like, Daniel Bryan retiring didn't dilute the pay-per-view that was coming up around that time. So what's the difference here? Because this is the first time ever, Matt? This is the first time ever for women? Is that the reason? I mean, we're not dumb. So, yeah, really, this was a sad moment to, Paige, who I must stress is only 25 freaking years old, and she's been wrestling since 2005. So let's see, by that statistic, let's see, she joined WWE around 2011. So cut that. Okay, so let's see if I'm correct on the timing. She was, okay, it's 2018. Take away that to 2000 to 2005. 16, 15, 14. Okay. Let's see. 2005 to 2018 was 13 years. She won the Divas Championship at 21. She was in her mid-teens, at least 15 years old. She was at least 15 years old when she wrestled. No, wait, correction. She was 13. She started wrestling when she was 13. At the age of 13. I was honestly depressed when I heard this. Like, your family is all wrestlers. Your mother's a wrestler, your father's a wrestler, your brother's a wrestler, your half-brother's even a wrestler. You're a wrestler. It's in your blood. And now you're being told at a young age like this, it's over. And it doesn't help much that Paige had revealed in various interviews that she was contemplating suicide because of the video leaks, which I do not like to talk about because fans will not shut up making jokes about that. Her relationship with Alberto El Patron, or Del Rio, being tumultuous, and all this controversy that happened regarding her and him, and their eventual split. As she revealed, she was having, an alcohol problem, I think? She was really depressed, now being told, hey, Paige, I know you're 25 years old, but you can't wrestle anymore. I'm 3 years younger than her. If I was in her profession and I was told I can't wrestle again at such a young age, I would be pissed off. I would be pissed off at myself. I would be pissed off at a person who I will say accidentally injured me, but I would still be mad because my emotions are gone crazy. Being told you can't wrestle anymore, if you were like at Edge, if she was like at Edge's age, I don't think it would have affected her as much as it probably is right now. But now she's being told you can't wrestle again and you're only 25. Like, at least Edge had made millions, has a legacy of a Hall of Famer. Paige, she hadn't reached that yet. Like, probably in her promotion she could be considered a Hall of Famer. But in WWE, the short amount of time she's been there, she's only been there since 2011. She signed for Florida Championship Wrestling, which was a part of WWE, and was before the revamping. She's only been there for 7 years. That's not enough to warrant a Hall of Fame career. A Hall of Fame introduction. So, yeah, she's been screwed. Screwed out of her dream. Screwed by injuries, nagging injuries, a neck injury. And I wouldn't blame her for feeling very angry and depressed. And I wouldn't be surprised if she did secretly blame Sasha Banks. Even though Sasha Banks will say, and I understand, it was a horrible accident. It was said it was a mistimed cue. But yet, certain fans are going to blame Sasha for this because Paige, because an accident doesn't really happen. It has to be intentional. It's not the sexy star situation where she intentionally took it upon herself to injure Rosemary. Sasha Banks just made a mistimed cue. They had everything by the book, but there was a mistimed communication issue, and that happened. It's just that this miscommunication ended a career. That's the problem I think fans are having more, and they're holding Sasha accountable. But really, the only person who has any justification to be mad at Sasha, in my opinion, is Paige, because she's currently through these tumultuous emotions of being told you can't wrestle anymore, and you're only 25, and you might not even make it to the Hall of Fame. So yeah, she's currently in a non-physical role, and Paige has been hinting at that she might not actually be done, that she might still return to the ring. Yeah, I would say hope for that, but yeah, there have been reports that Paige is somehow in denial that this happened, that she's done. So really, there's a chance that she's going through the great stages of grief. I almost said 7 stages of grief. I think it was the 5 stages of grief. Sorry. I think part of her is still in denial at the realization her career is done, and because of such short amount of time in WWE, she might not get a chance to be in the Hall of Fame, like with her idols, Lita, Trish Stratus. All these women that have paved the way for the Divas Revolution to the Women's Evolution, she can't join them. She probably never can. And that's probably the biggest downer she'll ever have. Besides losing her career at such a young age, and she'll have to be told you have to do something else now. And I don't blame WWE for that decision. I honestly don't. Like how I don't blame WWE for not wanting to bring Bryan back. I don't. So yeah, sorry if I went into a Paige tangent regarding her and her apparent retirement. With the exception of Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, and Paige, every woman in WWE of Raw and SmackDown are in this match. And that's only, 18 to 21 entrants? So that means there are 9 to 10 more people left to be added. And that means either most of it will be NXT women, or it will be 9 to 8 NXT women to one special guest. Okay, maybe Okay, so like WWE is apparently contacting legends, female legends to come in. So really, at best, I think 3 NXT women, some legends, and 1 special debut. And you know who I'm talking about. It's been said that she's signed. She's coming to WWE. Ronda Rousey is coming. So you'll probably expect her at the Women's Royal Rumble match. And most likely winning and beating Asuka, unfortunately. So, yeah. And if she does win, I'd be confused by that because I kept thinking, wait, shouldn't she finish her business with Stephanie McMahon? Like, shouldn't there be something ending with that because they built that up at WrestleMania 31? They were going to think about doing it, but then there were all these UFC and Hollywood stuff with The Rock going on, and all these commitments Ronda Rousey had with UFC and Hollywood to do the movies and the fights, so they really couldn't do it. So now that Ronda Rousey's out of UFC and there's no planned movies for her as far as I know, they could probably do it with Stephanie and Ronda Rousey. They can't get The Rock yet still because Hollywood doesn't want him to wrestle due to fear of injuries. So, yeah, either Asuka's going to win to maintain her streak. Well, I kept thinking Asuka and Alexa Bliss was going to fight on the Raw 25 show. That didn't happen, even though they were clearly hinting at that, and they built up a match for that. So, yeah, I'm confused by that. And then finally, we got the 2018 Men's Royal Rumble match for the Guaranteed World Championship match in the main event of WrestleMania 34. Like I said, these Royal Rumble matches are hard to do for me because I would have to talk about all the subplots, and even then I probably can't remember some of them. Like, the subplots we got, Samoa Joe was originally supposed to be in this match. Then he got a foot injury during his match against Titus O'Neil, I think. And he was originally supposed to start a feud with John Cena. Though really, I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse in terms of if Cena would have buried him. So instead, it now goes to Elias. Yay for him in the long run. So Elias is in this feud with John Cena, and it's going to make John Cena just look strong in the end because there's still rumors going around that it's to build up Undertaker versus Cena, which I have been prohibitively against, and when the time comes, I will talk about why I am really against that match. I can't talk about it here because I will be here all day with it. So when they do their first confrontation heading into WrestleMania, that's when I will talk about why I'm really against this match. Or if you want, you can just go to my Twitter account and see my thread I posted where I wrote about it. So, yeah. So we have that. We have Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt feuding. Woken! Let's see. Baron Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura just recently restarted a feud. There's Rusev Day and Aiden English possible tension they could do. And there's a guarantee Roman Reigns is going to be in this match to make sure he wins, just so we can go to WrestleMania and fight Lesnar, even though there's 2 other ways they can not do that. And just have Lesnar, just have Reigns just win a #1 contenders match at Elimination Chamber. And then go on to WrestleMania. In fact, it was reported that there was serious consideration that, okay, Finn Balor's not over enough to fight Lesnar in your mind, Vince, so how about this? We have Finn Balor win the Royal Rumble and go to SmackDown and fight Styles for the WWE Championship. How about that? But sure enough, since Roman Reigns lost the Intercontinental Championship to The Miz, that clearly indicates that either A, okay, it's practically guaranteed for one that he's going to fight Lesnar for the Universal Championship, but there's still no idea and confirmation if he's going to be in the Royal Rumble match. I say there's a huge likely guarantee of that because, really, I don't think Vince can imagine Reigns missing a show. So, yeah. And, okay, the guy to get the most eliminations, okay, that's actually kind of hard to answer since they don't have a monster in that match. So, if I was to guess, since Elias is built up to fight Cena, they might give him some opportunities, though I don't think so. They might do Bray Wyatt again just to do that annual push they do, like what happened last year, and I seriously hate that moment regarding how he was screwed at WrestleMania. And I've already covered that in a 50-minute video about his 2017 retrospective. It can't be The Miz. He's not going to win because he's already IC champion. They don't give it another champion the Royal Rumble spot. They could probably do Baron Corbin. Yeah, they could probably do Rusev since there's still word going around that Rusev might still go to the good side, so they might build him up to be the good guy and have Aiden English probably screw him over at the Royal Rumble. That could probably be it. So, yeah, the Royal Rumble it has potential, just like the Women's Royal Rumble match. But whereas the Women's Royal Rumble match has its historical significance, the Men's Royal Rumble match will just be the main event thing and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. However, I do know one thing. If they get this wrong, NXT Philadelphia wins. In fact, I'm practically going to say it wins. They have 6 matches on pay-per-view. NXT TakeOver Philadelphia so far only has 4 matches. And it's a 2-hour show. They're going to have 2 full hours most likely dedicated to both Royal Rumble matches. And the rest of the 2 hours is going to go to the other matches. And they might crunch like the first 2 of them. So, yeah. Oh man. So, Royal Rumble, I don't really know who's going to win. I don't want it to be Reigns. I really hope it's Finn Balor in all people, because they could do the perfect compromise. Fans get what they want with Finn Balor to be a main event champion by fighting Styles, and Reigns could go ahead and win the Elimination Chamber match of a #1 contendership opportunity and go on to main event WrestleMania against Lesnar. Which I still would call bullshit, because Finn Balor and Styles won the Royal Rumble. They earned the main event. They keep saying that if you win the Royal Rumble, you earn the main event at WrestleMania, the closing match. But every time they've done that, for the last several years now, so after WrestleMania 30, they just stopped. And even before that, after WrestleMania 30, yeah, they kind of stopped doing that. So, and even then, there were some Royal Rumbles that they did not want to have the main event be the main event. So, yeah. I'm just going with the hopeful compromise idea. That's the only way I see this working. Yeah, Gallus and Anderson wouldn't be having nothing to do again, but it's Finn Balor. He has more longevity here. So, yeah, those were my thoughts on the Road to Royal Rumble build-up to 2018. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to for more. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Road to WrestleMania.